Here with his predictions is Michigan Republican Congressman and almost a Freedom Watch regular now, Thaddeus McCotter. Congressman McCotter, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Thanks for having me, Judge. I enjoyed how much you sounded like Garibaldi in your intro.
No more monarchy. We discovered that 230 years ago. Are you surprised, Congressman McCotter, that as of this morning, at least a half dozen Democrats in the Senate, I'm going to ask you if they're doing this for political reasons or they really mean it, are making noises like they might vote no on raising the debt ceiling?
No, I'm not surprised that we're seeing this with amongst some of our more conservative Democratic colleagues, because the American people understand the situation, Judge, as you properly laid out. If you simply go and raise the debt ceiling, people understand that you'll just go and simply spend more money over time. What they really want to see is us to be able to go back, get true reforms such as a balanced budget amendment, and be able to say it's the last time, or be able to at least predict when the last time will be. Right now, to simply go for spending cuts, as we all painfully are aware, is that when you reduce the size of government spending at one point, eventually the welfare state has a great resilient capacity to increase spending over time, and it would not be something the American people would support.
Do you think that Republicans in the House, of whom you are one, and even some of your colleagues in the Senate, can resist the fear-mongering that has started from Secretary Geithner and probably will continue to come from him and even from the president himself? The sky will fall, the banks will close, no one will ever loan money to the United States government again. Yellowstone National Park will be owned by the Chinese. I mean, all kinds of absurd predictions of fear-mongering. Can the Republican leadership resist that, or will they cave to it?
Well, I point out that I'm heartened by the fact that, as you recall, Judge, Secretary Geithner, even before he was nominated that position, and other politicians told House Republicans they had to vote for the Wall Street bailout. And both times a majority of Republicans resisted that apocalyptic vision that is put forward to bait them into voting for something that they shouldn't. So even now, with the rejuvenation that the House Republican caucus has had with our new members that were elected in 2010, I'm confident that they will look at this in a very analytical, principled fashion and not fall for the sky is falling argument.
I have this happy dream, Congressman McCotter, that every Republican in the House will vote no on raising the debt ceiling, and that will be the end of it. There will be no bill to send over the Senate. Is my dream fanciful, or could it become reality? This is a decision that you'll all have to make in about 2 weeks.
Well, I'm loath to make prognostications, Judge, because my happy dream is to one day again have hair, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Sorry.
So the way that I look at it is the American people are sovereign. Our revolution asserted that. It continues to this day, and they do not want to see that debt ceiling raised unless there's a concrete thing such as a balanced budget amendment that shows them it won't be needed to be done again.
All right. Can we name names? Are there Republicans in the House of Representatives who are advancing the White House mantra that we need to allow the government to continue borrowing? Or are Republicans either neutral or against the borrowing, more borrowing, like you and a lot of your colleagues?
Oh, I think that they're against it. I think they understand, again, the American people do not want to see that debt ceiling raised any more than they would expect to see the spending continue. They understand the two are related. They also link both to the prosperity of this nation, which is currently being crushed beneath the size and scope of big government and its spending practice.
You know, Congressman McCotter, from your experience in the Capitol building, the balanced budget amendment is not going to pass. It requires 2/3 of each house, and even if that were the case, it then requires 3/4 of the states. That's not going to happen overnight. It couldn't even happen in a year's time. So what possible present benefit could the White House give the Republicans in order to induce them to vote in favor of raising the debt ceiling?
Well, that's a question that the administration is going to have to put forward. Unfortunately, as you rightly pointed out, there has been no concrete offer that would give people the certainty that raising the debt ceiling would never be done again. In fact, they're going the opposite direction with their scaremongering tactics so that they can continue to borrow and spend and keep the basis of the Democratic Party intact, which is the redistribution of wealth.
Got it. Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, I know you guys are off this week. It's good of you to join us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Judge.